at the bedon a parliament. Na Kakoma a NDC for no Amanchester. NDC for a press conference at a betuga and just a uncle panel, warm anti home popo before Ansana, warm at the Kratano, ever betu a year abanting, Kwajo Oppong Nkrumah HSA. She say no NDC Amanukuno, warm at the Bank of Ghana, Eura a year Amanusemu, or the Bank of Ghana, Eura a year politics ma, Kwajo Oppong Nkrumah, Nani bring now in same betuga now or sure NDC for say. Sa politics now womodi NDC womodi Bank of Ghana ewura mu se womo anhwe ya ene Bank of Ghana no nje se ebegu sa na Kwajo Oppong Nkrumah e kana asem fi se womo anyanhwe ha emasade wi enkoso abra NPP abreso no womo anya bibisa na Kwajo Oppong Nkrumah ni abre anje se wakasa kodru so fi se ohwa owo chitafo na Kwajo Oppong Nkrumah nsem na waka no o kire se account a buy until 2025 near one year and a half no you share the NDC for and so at the abaya na just a difference baby woman one more yard there a British senior one more so no a cano one more so no a cano na abusuya sikana just say a was adi remono a sunyi sikana son na se NDC for amfa amadom parliament am wo mo antana se anhwem anhwese ne o man no ye good honsem ye mineral resources honsem just say ye natural resources a wo man no mu anke say ye ton bi du kwa mo no se ya anhwese ne emu nsem asiti a na kamya koye say wo mo anya accounting amfa ma wo mo mpanifo no sika ni bi etimi efa baabi NDC for the yenim de wo mo etimi ye wo mo betimi abu sika ni bi de ewura baabi a ni nyina ka ho ena mampanifo etai Kwajo Oppong Nkrumah achi na wono so abetenase na jese ode esan semwi ababetuga na busunya yebekọ ne akoti Kwajo Oppong Nkrumah ne ahwe ni video jese ansem a ode tuga no ne de wi a osi kasa hodru so won na ode ma NDC forces se wo mo anhwe ya ene Bank of Ghana no ebegu mu nti Kwajo
ya onsa 2025 edwa Bank of Ghana di nyina ya wada nyumre ena ode beto abonten na ansa no ode beba no Bank of Ghana de ni account no ode koma NDC political party so omo no monye press conference no mo announce account sadia we bin sida fiti Ghana independence bin sida san say mrada kwan ya Bank of Ghana account e fa on publish account na ready e ma finance minister within 3 months. Now, finance minister, I cracked out to so the about parliament. Where the man is, we no the command NDC party. This is a more NDC communicators, any MP sleeping in the Bejana have a press conference, about now say Bank of Ghana accounts. I didn't see that. You know, you're a governor, any board, no, any buying kokose. Politics now say on the Bank of Ghana. A bet to me, I'm a bank and Ankasa Egu. Tia Sra Manyado. Omunyi politics ni fi Bank of Ghana adwuma no mo professionals na wo no enye adwuma no mo boka mo fa account ni beto abonten na mo nka new policies that they have introduced at the bank. The implication of this is that the bank now requires an urgent bailout before it can perform its core mandate. And later this week we will outline immediate measures that we believe the government should take to restore true policy solvency. Today we just want to expose this sad fact which the government is trying to hide from the Ghanaian people, that on the watch of the NDC, for the first time in our history, the Bank of Ghana has become policy insolvent. The second point we want to draw your attention to. The government and its spin doctors, led by the NDC party officials who did that press conference, are trying to convince the people of Ghana that their loss is 15.6 billion Ghana cedis. And colleagues, we don't blame you. We've seen many of you reporting that the loss is 15.6 billion cedis. We regret to tell the people of Ghana that this is not true. 2025. Before, the Bank of Ghana did not split its accounts into two. They put all the accounts in one, in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards. On the watch of this new administration, they have amended the accounting standards they are using. And now they split it into two and move some into what they call the other comprehensive income. So what you have seen as the 15.6 is only the operating loss that they have declared in the operating accounts. But when you go to the consolidated and separate statements of the comprehensive income for the year ended 31st December 2025, we want to show you something else that they are hoping nobody will look at. Look at the first line. That is the loss for the year, the 15.6 for the bank itself, and 15.3 for the entire group, because you know they have subsidiaries. But as you go down a little bit, you will find that there are other transactions they have done that will culminate, we'll show you another line, go down a bit, that will culminate in a loss of, this is an additional loss of 19.3 billion cedis for the bank and 19.8 for the group. So if you want to see the true loss that the bank has suffered, it's not just the headline 15.6 that they have told you. It's the 15.6 at the top, and then the 19.8 at the bottom. For the bank alone, that is 34.9 billion Ghana cedis. That's the true operating loss. And for the group, it is 35 billion cedis. So colleagues, the second point we want to make to you is that, contrary to what they are telling you, that the loss is 15.6 billion, please look into the account. You will find that the 19 billion has been moved into other comprehensive income. And if you put the two together, it's 34 billion. And that's why we're also drawing your attention to the fact that even this 34 billion, they achieved it by artificially generating revenue of about 9 billion from 50% of our gold which they sold. So if you add that back, sadly, the true loss of the central bank for the year 2025 is 44 billion Ghana cedis. Now, they have been going at lengths to try to hide this. In fact, even before the results were released, they briefed some of you in the media to start writing stories that there was going to be a loss, but it will be lower. I want to refer you, for example, to some of the stories published on Ghana Web days before the publication. It says Ghana Web Business understands that the accounts will first be presented partly due to a change in external auditors. The central bank is expected to post another operating loss for the period ending 2025, although it is likely to be smaller than the 9.4 of the previous year. And they got many of you to repeat it in other news publications because they wanted to tune the minds of people that the loss has come down. It's not true. It's 34 if you look at it on a consolidated basis. And if you take away the artificial revenue they jumped into it, that's 44. Issue number 3. What is happening at the central bank is that there was recovery that was coming after the initial losses of 2022. And because of the new policy measures that they have introduced, that recovery is being reversed. You'll recall that after the 2022 loss, which loss was occasioned because the central bank had to participate in the domestic debt exchange program and lost about 48 billion cedis at that time, leading to a total loss of about 60 billion. After that, the central bank had been reducing their losses. So in the year 2023, and if you can go to the graph, I'd just like to demonstrate it to our colleagues. In the year 2023, they reduced the loss from the 60 billion. So you will find on the bar graphs we have here, we've plotted from 2020 coming. So 2020, they were in positive, profit of about 1.7 billion. And so the net equity position went up to about 3.5 billion. In 2021, they made an extra profit of about 1.2 billion. So the net equity went up further, 5.7 billion. But in 2022, when they participated in the domestic debt exchange program, they made a loss of 60 billion. And that is what brought the net equity position, the whole at the Bank of Ghana, to the 54 billion that you see there. But they started reducing the loss. So in 2023, the loss reduced to 13.2, and the whole expanded to 65.3. And then in 2024, the loss further reduced to 9.5, and the whole started closing. So from 65, you see the whole closing is now at 61. What has happened is that now in 2025, because of the measures that they have employed, which have cost us a whopping 35 billion Ghana cedis, which they are trying to hide by telling you is 15 billion, now the net equity position, the whole has gotten bigger to 96 billion cedis, as you see there. Indeed, if it was 15 billion, when they were adjusting this, they should have adjusted by only 50 million. But they had to go and adjust by 35 billion because that is the true comprehensive operating loss. So the third point that we are making to you, sadly, is that the reversal that was coming up at the Bank of Ghana is now, or the recovery that was coming up, is now being reversed, and the position has gotten significantly worse because of the policy decisions there. Now, again, in the propaganda exercise they did on Thursday, they tried to tell the people of Ghana that these accounts have been prepared in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards. Again, colleagues, we regret to inform you that that is not true. On page 10 of the audited statements, in a paragraph titled Emphasis of the Matter, the Basis of the Accounting, this is what the auditors of the Bank of Ghana have written. They say KPMG are drawing attention to note 2A, and they write, and here I'm quoting them directly, the consolidated and separate financial statements are prepared in accordance with the group's own accounting policies. As a result, the consolidated and separate financial statements may not be suitable for any other purpose. Our opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. I want to translate this into plain language. The accounts are not prepared on full international financial reporting standards. They are prepared on the bank's own internal framework. That's why KPMG could not say that they are prepared in accordance with IFRS, because the accounts were not prepared in accordance with IFRS. They reverted to citing the bank's own internal accounting policy as the standard against which compliance was tested. On page 4 of the same document, the directors themselves, the directors of the Bank of Ghana say, and I quote, the recognition and measurement criteria as set out in IFRS accounting standards as adopted by the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana have not been applied in these circumstances. They are hoping you won't read, but it's there. And it is because of the adoption of this particular standard that they are able to move the 19 billion from the operating account into what they call other comprehensive income and let you think that the loss is 15 billion when the loss is actually about 35 billion. It's 34.9, approximately 35 billion. I want to be clear. I'm not making allegations. I'm reading what the auditor and directors have themselves written into the document. KPMG has flagged it. The directors have admitted it. The basis of accounting is part of the architecture that makes the headline loss look smaller than the underlying economic reality. I want to deal with